I don't know about you, but I'm not looking forward to the Daredevil Born Again series, which is odd because Matt Murdock is one of the most fascinating characters of all time. He's blind, yet he can see better than anyone else. He's a lawyer who breaks the law through vigilantism at night, and he's a devout Catholic who dresses up as the devil. There's so many dichotomies associated with the character. This guy's really layered and complicated. He's way more layered and complicated than your typical Marvel hero or villain. Yet somehow, I'm just not stoked for Daredevil returning to the MCU. Is it because it's been years since we've seen a Daredevil TV series? Is it because Daredevil's fight choreography so far in the MCU has been subpar? Is it because Daredevil and Kingpin's appearances in the MCU proper has been meh, to say the least? Well, yeah, these are all factors that make me question the quality of this upcoming TV show. But to me, the biggest questions and concerns I have with Daredevil has to do with the character development that's going to happen in this next chapter of the MCU. In this video, I'm going to go over the peak character development we've seen in these past Marvel Netflix TV shows and why I don't think Disney will reach the same storytelling heights for these street level heroes. But before we get into this, please be sure to give a like and subscribe to Favorite Comics. You do not want to miss out on our awesome content. Now, let's start off with Matt Murdock's journey in the Marvel Netflix shows. This guy went from being a man to a symbol in the best way possible. I mean, where do I even begin with this guy? In season 1, he started out as this sort of ninja Rocky Balboa. Even though he started out as an extremely talented fighter, he got knocked down a lot. Like to the point where it's pretty surprising that he's not dead. Every time he picked himself back up, he learned from his mistakes and eventually built himself up until he was strong enough to take on the Kingpin. In terms of character work, Matt's journey was pretty amazing. He really grew into a better person. Not perfect by any means, but he still became better. He was arrogant enough to think that he could do everything by himself at the beginning of the show. He neglected his friends Foggy and Karen, and he was engaging in really harmful and self-destructive behavior. He never even considered how lying to his friends about his alter ego would impact them, and things, as you'd expect, blew up in his face pretty spectacularly. Even though he became a symbol, his humanity was put at the forefront. He admitted to himself that he needed help. He made amends with Foggy after he found out about his Daredevil alter ego. He asked and leaned on his friends for support in his time of need, which is a phenomenal step to take for a person who had loved ones abandon him throughout his whole life. And man, did that hit hard. His mother abandoned him as a baby due to her postpartum depression. His dad technically didn't leave him, but I bet it hurt when he got killed by mobsters when Matt was a boy. And his second father figure Stick left him when he realized that Matt wanted a dad as opposed to a martial arts master. Throughout his whole life, he never had anyone to lean on. So for him to lean on Foggy and Karen for help is a phenomenal step towards him becoming a healthier person. On top of him persevering through all of his personal problems, he rose to the occasion and put a stop to Kingpin. Was his development perfect in season 2? Nope, but there was some pretty good stuff going on here. He stood his ground with the Punisher. I could watch that verbal sparring match over whether or not it's right to kill criminals between Matt and Frank over and over again. And even though the Elektra storyline was pretty wonky, it was pretty interesting to watch the interpersonal drama unfold between the two characters. Like or hate Daredevil Season 2, it was pretty fun to watch Matt deal with his super toxic ex-girlfriend. This chick was so crazy that she tried to get Matt to kill his father's murderer, and she just couldn't drop her nasty habit of murdering people. Dealing with her back in his life, right when he got close to Karen, and going through losing her again was some pretty interesting drama to watch. And then there was Daredevil Season 3. Now, I don't know about you, but this chapter in Matt's life was really powerful. Like, very, very powerful. I don't know if you're a religious person or if you can relate to any of this, but it was super smart and interesting for the writers to have Matt abandon his faith. After losing Elektra again in the Defender series, getting beat until he was an inch away from dying, and realizing that the Kingpin rose to power again, it makes complete sense for Matt to lose his faith in God. He even went as far as abandoning his values to try and kill Wilson Fisk. This guy was at an all-time mental, physical, and spiritual low point. And for him to come back from that and regain his sense of self is nothing short of spectacular. Daredevil Season 3 was gritty, powerful, and cathartic. Matt's journey was amazing. You know it, I know it, Marvel knows it, and pretty much everyone knows it. And it wasn't just Matt's journey that was phenomenal. Foggy, Karen, and Frank all went through amazing character development. Instead of leaning on Matt's charisma as a lawyer, Foggy got over his anxieties, found his confidence, and did a fantastic job of representing Frank Castle during his trial. He went from being a really shy man to a phenomenal lawyer. Karen went through quite the trials and tribulations of her own. I like how she actually had something to do even while Matt kept Daredevil a secret from her. I mean, think about it. How many superhero projects feature a female side character that has something to do when she's not kept in the loop about the secret identity? Iris West in the Flash TV show was just there when she did not know Barry Allen's secret identity. She didn't even contribute to the plot whatsoever until she learned that Barry Allen is the Flash. Karen, on the other hand, had something to do. She teamed up with the journalist Ben Urich to try and dig up dirt on Wilson Fisk. She played an active role in beating the story's antagonist. Man, I feel bad for the actress who played Iris West, cause even when she was a part of Team Flash, she basically just caused a lot of interpersonal drama and didn't really save the day. Except for that time she jumped off of a building to save her husband. That was pretty awesome. Anyways, back to Karen. She went through some stuff. She shot one of the Kingpin's closest aides in self-defense and had to wrestle with taking a person's life. So much so that she kept this a secret from Matt and Foggy. And when the Frank Castle trials came around, man, did she swing hard for the Punisher. She didn't want to believe that he was a bad person for killing, otherwise that would mean she's irredeemable. In a lot of ways, her fight to redeem Frank was her fight to redeem herself. And man, that's pretty powerful. To me, her character development came full circle when she told the Kingpin that she killed his friend. The fact that she went from covering up her misdeeds to full-on owning what she did is really powerful. And then we have Frank Castle. Man, I just love Jon Bernthal's take on The Punisher. To me, the first season of The Punisher was just pure art. Given the fact that I did not come from a military family, I never considered what the military community goes through, at least not on an emotional level. But man, did The Punisher change that. It was such an eye-opener to see the issues that the military community faced. They covered everything from soldiers living with PTSD and amputations to the problems they face finding employment and reintegrating back into society. They did this all while covering Frank's journey of finding his identity. After losing his family, Frank just couldn't go back to living a quiet life. And to be honest with you, I don't blame him. Going home to a nice, loving, and warm family was taken away from him. If I was him, I'd be mad. I'd be really pissed. It honestly made me happy that he did not go back into submission and live a life as a lonely and sad man. I was happy that he found a new purpose and chose to take on organized crime. Cause if I'm being honest with myself, I can never do what Frank does, or be as brave and courageous as the members of the military. And let's not forget the Kingpin himself. These shows did an amazing job of showing us just how scary and messed up he is. He beat men to death, including his own father, he built a criminal empire from the ground up, and he manipulated law enforcement to have the entire FBI under his thumb. Matt Murdock, Karen Page, Foggy Nelson, Frank Castle, and Wilson Fisk all had amazing character development. Was I mad when the Netflix shows were cancelled? Hell yeah, but now in retrospect, I kinda wish they'd stayed cancelled. Disney, Marvel, and Kevin Feige. How are you gonna match this storytelling excellence? Cause he dropped the ball pretty hard with the Kingpin. In the Netflix shows, this dude was a straight up monster. So much so that he ran prison. Now, be honest with yourself. How well do you think you can survive prison? Cause if I'm being honest, I can't imagine doing well in an environment like that, let alone running an entire prison. But did he get that treatment in his first MCU proper appearance? Nope. A 22-year-old chick named Kate Bishop used some sort of throwing trick to defeat Kingpin. I mean, come on, Marvel. Daredevil used every ounce of his intellect, bravery, and physicality to beat this monster. So to see Kate Bishop use some sort of trick on him to beat this guy was just underwhelming. It would have been way more satisfying to see Kate Bishop get defeated by Kingpin, learn from her mistakes, and work through her fears of taking down a monster. But did we get that? Nope. She just flicked something and somehow Kingpin got electrocuted and he passed out? To be honest, I just don't remember how he got defeated by Kate Bishop because it was just that underwhelming. And let's talk about what's going on with Daredevil Born Again. From what I've heard, it seems like they're adapting the Devil's Reign story arc. Kingpin will come into power as the mayor of New York and use his resources and the law to target all superhumans regardless of whether or not they're a hero or villain. Now, to me, this would be a very interesting story arc to explore if it wasn't for the fact that Daredevil Born Again feels like a B-plot in a whatever TV episode in the MCU. The writing in the Netflix TV shows was so strong that despite the fact that the stakes were low, we as an audience still felt them. Now that Daredevil is in the MCU proper, his stories kind of feel immaterial. I mean, how is Daredevil gonna help out when Doctor Doom tries to destroy the multiverse? The creative team is really gonna have to bring their A game on this one, cause if there's beings powerful enough to destroy Daredevil and Kingpin with a snap of their own fingers, it's hard to make them feel like they matter. And let's not forget that the creative team has to handle the Punisher with a lot of care. This guy is a symbol for the entire military community and law enforcement. Apparently, in the comics, they changed Frank's logo and created this storyline where he became a ninja and the new de facto leader of the Hand. They did this to distance themselves from the law enforcement officers in real life who wore the Punisher logo while doing some disagreeable things. Listen, I get that this is a hot topic, but to me, fundamentally changing the Punisher as a character just because a substrata of police officers were acting badly seems like a bit much. To me, Frank Castle is a guy who represents all of the brave good men who put their lives on the line to keep us safe. If this new Daredevil series deviates from this aspect of Frank, I think it's safe to say that a lot of Marvel fans will be pretty mad. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that the Kingpin will get a bunch of cops to wear the Punisher logo, get them to do some bad stuff, and use that behavior to swing public favor towards his plans on reining in all superhumans, good or bad. I really hope Kevin Feige scraps this idea if it's true, because to me, it's just not a smart way of handling the Punisher symbol. The Spider-Man games did a great job of showing us the good and bad sides of law enforcement. On one hand, you had the New York City Police Department just trying to do what's right, and on the other hand, you had Silver Sable's private military contract who were overly militarized and did not use their power for the good of the people. I really hope they handle Frank Castle well, because if they don't, well, it has the potential to cause a lot of divisiveness between people. They gotta do this all while giving Matt, Foggy, Karen, Kingpin, and Frank amazing character development. Which, let's face it, will be pretty hard considering how high they set the bar in those Netflix series. But not Iron Fist though, they set the bar pretty low with him. Disney can more than likely redeem Iron Fist. All concerns aside, I think Daredevil Born Again will do well. It certainly looks really comic booky. Daredevil is one of the few characters that represents the disabled community, so I really hope Disney handles the character with care. As long as they don't have those weird looking fight action sequences like they do on She-Hulk, I'll be pretty happy. But what do you think? Do you think Daredevil Born Again will do well? Do you think Disney will handle these characters with care? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give a like and subscribe to Favorite Comics so that you do not miss out on our awesome content. Stay groovy.